the AI is not a disruptor in the sense that we are taking it. AI is only exposing our fault lines, our narrow and shallow definitions of learning, and that is what we have been measuring is now under scrutiny.
India is building more schools than ever, but building great school leaders is a much harder challenge, one that could shape the future of education in our country. Ashok Pandey sir has spent decades leading schools and mentoring young leaders through the 40 initiative at GEMS Education. He is now focused on the question that will define the next decade of Indian education. Who will lead our schools tomorrow? Welcome to the Learning Circles.
Thank you, Caroline.
You have said that if a task can be outsourced to AI, it is not really a measure of learning. On the surface, this looks like a statement about AI, but isn't it actually a statement about what we all have been misunderstanding about learning for years now?
Absolutely, you are spot on. The AI is not a disruptor in the sense that we are taking it. AI is only exposing our fault lines, our narrow and shallow definitions of learning, and that is what we have been measuring is now under scrutiny. So, therefore, my larger question to my fraternity is that are we measuring judgment? Are we measuring wisdom? Are we measuring creativity? Are we measuring the values and the skills which are needed for the world to flourish and also for the human beings themselves to flourish? So will that be part of the whole learning definitions, or it will remain what it is today? What can be measured in terms of what you can produce, what you can recall, what you can write? I mean, this is what has been the age old definition of learning. So that is what I mean when I say that if everything can be outsourced and everything can be produced through AI, then where is the learning in this whole game plan?
And you have mentioned few skills that we should be measuring
Yes,
instead of
absolutely.
just recall based questions. If I run a school, then what do you suggest that we should do differently? We should redesign our assessments altogether to measure what actually drives learning.
So redesign the pedagogy first, redesign the learning first. So, what is that we want to teach in the classroom? And teaching perhaps is not the right word now. What is on which we want to have a dialogue in our classrooms? So, it is basically the dialogic process that we are talking about here. So, is it going to be continuously the teacher led classrooms, or it has to be student led classrooms? Children making meaning out of what we are doing, or it is just a compliance of syllabus and covering of syllabus? Is there any element of real life connect to it? And of course, since AI is there, how is AI going to augment our efforts in the classroom? And it is only after that it will come that what are the redesigned assessment processes which will measure these new things. So I'll put the redesigning of the pedagogy first and then the redesigning of the assessment.
And you have said that it has to be student led because earlier it has been teacher led and mainly exchange of information, one way exchange of information. But with AI, that information exchange may happen outside the class.
A very nice thing you have pointed out. You know, some few years ago, one thing came in the pedagogical jargon, I call it flipped classrooms. And a very simple definition of flipped classroom was that you in advance you announce that this is what we are going to discuss tomorrow or day after, and children have the learning material and they will interact with that, they will engage with that, and they come back to the classroom, and instead of teacher leading it, students are leading it and teacher becomes part of the classroom. So some child will lead that discussion, somebody is interjecting it, somebody is giving a new input into it, and that is the whole scenario has been flipped. That was the whole idea, right? And it was touted as one of the innovative teaching processes, you know,
Right.
innovative pedagogy. But look at the time that has changed and look at what is speed this change has come. That every day we are having a flipped classroom. The
Right.
children are all the time engaging with the new knowledge, if not the knowledge, at least the information, the data, isn't it? And teachers are no more the sole repositories of knowledge. So that information is there, but then how do you curate it? How do you become a curator of that information so that you shift from information to knowledge to wisdom, meaning making, as we call it? When we talk of a student led class, then we are essentially saying is that do not think that the children do not know anything. That assumption we have to do away with. They know, and they know a lot. So give them opportunity to come out with what they know and what they want to say. And that is what takes us to another new thing that we have to explore in our classrooms, and that is the student agency. If we do not give opportunity for the children to come out with what they have, after all, agency is the latent heat, we call it. As a student of physics, what is agency? It is a latent heat, right? It is hidden. And we as facilitators, we have to bring that heat or potential or capabilities out. That is what the student-led classroom is. And that will change the whole scenario in the classroom.
Two points here from what you said. One is this agency being latent heat, but sir, also that students have a lot of this agency, this heat and information, but along with that they also have a lot of misinformation today in the
Yes.
AI age. So isn't this also essential that while we are developing their agency, the teacher's role is also to prevent or reduce these misinformations in the students?
What you have said is that you have brought at least one relevance for the teachers to be in the classroom. There is already a talk that AI will replace the teachers. You have just given one incident. I will give you a few more during our conversation, that teachers cannot be replaced, right?
Yes.
So this is a new role. This role was always there, but this role is a little more exposed today, and a little more intense today, because that information is coming and the children are not matured enough to apply themselves to the scrutiny, to the authenticity, to the potential of that information to affect your behavior, your psyche, your emotions. And that is where the larger role of teachers comes in. Yeah, you are absolutely right.
And even the speed at which the children are consuming this information is not really appropriate. They just jump through the whole chapters and think that they have understood, but the learning may not be deeper enough. So there also the teacher's role, I think, is very critical. Pull them
Absolutely.
back, and instead of just letting the students cover the breadth of learning, they also take them into the depths of the learning
Absolutely.
also.
Yeah. So that is another thing that teachers have to acknowledge, that we are in a classroom context. We are in an attention economy phase.
Yes.
So the attention is in a crisis, and the children are not able to cope up with that, right? So that is where this ability of the teachers comes in, where we are able to tell them that how to apply your judgment, and how, if you can't apply your judgment, at least can you hold your judgment? Can you delay the whole process of coming with a judgment? So even that will be helpful. The moment we jump to those judgments, we play into the hands of heightened emotions. And if we delay those judgments, then we are also delaying the process of heightening to lowering down of the emotions. And then our judgments will be much better then, because by that time, more information would have come to us, right? And those informations may regulate our process of judgment. So that is where the need is. I have been telling the teachers at least for 2 years that, look, treat AI and intelligence and things like that as your colleague. And you should not be afraid of the colleague. Then AI is the fourth teacher for the students. Why? Because they already have their teacher in the classroom, they have parents as teachers at home, and the peer group. So this three distinct entities work as teachers in their life, and AI becomes their fourth teacher because it is colleague of your teacher. When you are having a staff meeting with 4 teachers, please keep in your mind that your fifth teacher is also sitting there, who is not visible in the physical sense of the term, but otherwise visible in every sense of the term. And we still retain the right and the wisdom to harness the best of AI. And we should develop our best potential. And therefore, the ideal situation in which we are going to deal with as teachers is the best of AI and the best of the teacher.
You have also said this transformation from information to knowledge, to wisdom, needs the guidance of very effective, strong leaders, school leaders. So that brings us to the question that, school leaders are not just managing a school, they are managing, future citizens, and
Yeah.
also they are building the next generation of school leaders.
So, if I understand that we have now moved into the area of teacher leadership development. Am I right? So that is something very, very important. So first of all is that India has been a land of teachers, and teachers have been historically called gurus and acharyas and upadhyay, by various names, which means the manifestation of an individual into a teacher is not a teacher alone, but a variety of things which a teacher is supposed to do. Unfortunately, today we talk of a teacher's role only in terms of what we have discussed in the last 10, 15 minutes, that you have to teach, you have to prepare them for life, for admissions, for cracking examinations and competitions. So this is the overwhelming role that we have assumed for ourselves. But as teachers, we do not have to talk about only livelihood. We have to talk about the life. We have to talk about the flourishing of the human being, right? And
Right.
Aristotle put it more beautifully when somebody asked him, his students only asked him, what is the purpose of education? And he said the purpose of education is human flourishing. And then the students asked, can you please elaborate upon it? What is human flourishing? And he said that the human flourishing is a combination of two things, the cognitive flourishing of the human and the character flourishing of the human beings. So, but in our modern wisdom for last 100 years or so, or maybe a little less since independence, we have focused only on the cognitive side of it. And there also we narrowed it down to rote memorization, to production, to recall, little bit of understanding, even less application, but certainly not analysis, synthesis, creativity, innovation, problem solving in a multi perspective scenario. Those things have not happened, and character building has gone totally out of the picture. Now, this background I have given to you so that I can clearly set the agenda of teacher development for the future. Now, what are the instruments of teacher development in this country? Pre-service teacher, in-service teacher, and incidental development of the teachers, and accidental development of the teachers,
Yes.
right? So I will not talk much about the pre-service because it has not painted itself in a lot of glory that I can talk about. But certainly I acknowledge the good efforts that have been made. In-service training is happening a lot, and I appreciate it because that is the only way we can allow teachers to flourish, because they do not come with a very good background of pre-service training, number one. And for that, I don't only blame the institutions or the system, I also blame the total social perception of the role of the teachers, or the social perception of the status of the teachers in the society today. I mean, we are the country where we gave the most exalted position to the teachers in our society.
Yes.
And we have reduced to a society now where being a teacher is not the first, second, third, fourth choices, career choices of the children. So you see the cost of barrier that we have already created. And to overcome that barrier is so much difficult. And therefore, the only hope is that, okay, for whatever reasons you joined the profession, can we neutralize that negativity? Can we neutralize that deficient motivation and start a clean slate where we can make you a good, better, and best teacher? So that is the background in which this in-service training. But I want to tell you here, I don't want to your viewers to get disappointed here. The government of India, post NEP 2020, they have introduced a new system of pre-service training, and that is called ITEP. Okay, Integrated Teacher Education Program.
Yes.
ITEP. So, Integrated Teacher Education Program came only in the light of the facts that I have narrated to you in the last 5 minutes. Okay. So what does ITEP do, Caroline, is that like you choose to become an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer or a fashion designer or whatever at the end of class 12, now you have an opportunity to choose to be a teacher at the class 12. So Yes. So after class 12 only you can decide that you want to be a teacher, and then you join this ITEP course, and this is a 4 years course. So after this 4 year course you come to the teaching profession straight away. Like you become an engineer or a doctor, you become this. But then the similarity stops here and the differences emerge from here. So after becoming an engineer after 4 years, you have 2 3 years of internship and training and exposure.
Yes. Yeah.
But same thing is not available in the teaching profession. You come after your result, and the first day, if you're appointed, you have to go to the classroom, which you have not seen after your own schooling, isn't it? So that is where this teacher development comes. So we have to tell them what teaching is all about, what learning is all about.
Mm.
And one thing that they have to learn is that unfortunately in this profession, learning never stops. And teaching is a misnomer. It is only learning, learning, and learning. The only difference you can make is learn together, grow together, shine together, reap the benefits of co learning together,
Mm.
and always be a friend to your students. One of the very profound ancient sayings in our wisdom civilization, that is Ma Vidvisha Vahai. I just translated it before that the teachers and the students are co-learners. They learn together, they grow together, they shine together, they reap the benefits of learning and knowledge together. And there is no animosity between the two. This is the profound principle that we have to hone in the young, aspiring teachers.
That is very empowering. No, but from what you share, there are a couple of things that this ITech to be successful, to be sought after. One is that the teaching profession has to be,
Yes.
made more sought after, lucrative,
Yeah.
respected profession. And second, of course, you talked about that teachers don't get an opportunity to do internship, right?
Yeah.
So they miss that kind of mentoring that other professions
Exactly.
have. So you have talked about that India doesn't have a teacher training problem, it is actually having a mentoring problem. What value mentoring can add here, and how to really develop systems where that becomes a possibility?
Absolutely. I think that's a great intervention you have made. So let me put it this way. Some time ago, I wrote an article, and I wrote that India is suffering from the deficiency of vitamin T, T for teachers.
Okay.
Right. So later on, I modified it, and I said that India is suffering from deficiency of vitamin TL, teacher leadership. And today I say that we are suffering from the deficiency of vitamin LD, leadership development. And that is where you are coming from. So I'm very
Yeah.
happy. So what happens, Caroline, is that traditionally we thought, the basic presumption was what? That the children come to a school and they don't know anything. And that is why anybody who knows something is capable of telling them everything, right? That is the assumption.
Yes.
But that assumption does not stand the test of scrutiny and the reality today, right? And so much so that we celebrated saying that the children are clean slate and you have the liberty to write anything on that. We celebrated it. Well, it had its relevance and meaning in one era, isn't it? But now I don't think children are a clean slate.
Oh.
I think children are a slate full of a lot of information and experience, and we have to sift the good from the bad, and we have to curate it. And therefore, the leadership development is very, very important. And again, for that, what we have to do is that the seniors in the profession, the policymakers, and not only the seniors in the profession of teaching, seniors in other professions, which includes dedicated people like you, and in any other walk of life. I think we have to expose our young teachers to them, and we have to stretch their experiences. We have to make them reflective teachers. We have ask 2 or 3 questions every day to themselves. And few first questions are, what is the purpose I'm in a school? Am I coming up to the expectations of the learners? What changes I'm going to make to come up to their expectations? Am I justifying my role here? I think these are the reflections we have to start with, right? And
Right.
we have to become 100% efficient teachers. Our productivity has to be at the optimum level. Teaching profession is more than a profession, it is a mission. So there is a difference between a profession and a mission. And this mission is that you are designing the future of the young children. And when you are designing the future of the young children, you are also designing the future of communities, of societies, of nations, and of the humanity. And therefore, your responsibility is much more than the responsibility of anyone in any other profession. You see, you can produce the best product in a manufacturing company, but here you are dealing with human beings. I think you need more capabilities and agencies and potentials and sensitivities in a teaching profession than anywhere else. So I think this is the first lesson. And this lesson will not come from any pre service training. This lesson will come only when they come to the classrooms. When a teacher is appointed, at least 2 to 3 months you do onboarding of the teacher. Let the teacher be and understand the whole thing, feel the environment, feel the children, go through the corridors, move into any classroom, see what is happening, go to the playground, go to the library, and 3 months you are paid for just learning. And then only that, it is like putting uh, something for sprouting for 3 months, right? And then it will sprout and they will come out. I am going to do it like this. I will not do it the way I'm seeing for 3 months. Not because those things are happening in a wrong way. I will do it differently because I'm more innovative now. I can experiment more. I will try new experimentations. I will not go into traditions. I will do it differently. But for that, I think the seniors have to hold hands with compassion, with empathy, with a futuristic and non-judgmental intention. In fact, this intentionality in leader development is something which is also missing. Most of the places, it is a compliance driven professional development, right? So
Right.
compliance is not important. What is important is that are we developing consciousness about something? Are we developing curiosity? Are we developing systems where the compliance becomes an inner drive? Let it be compliance in the beginning, but it has to transform to a inner drive. So that will come by creating a great culture of learning on the campuses. And that is why I call principals or headmasters or anybody who is heading an institution as drivers of learning and culture.
Then why is there so much of resistance to change? Why can't we just allow teachers 3 months of time to settle down, to learn, to be mentored? If I am a school leader, how would you convince me? This is a message for other leaders. How would you convince me to actually, do this? Because until and unless things change at the ground level,
I,
the output, the outcome would not change.
I'll tell you, a couple of things to make this conversation a bit lighter. Not now, but some years ago, in a conference, I was thrown a shocker at me
Okay.
when a very respected leader got up and said, "What is your answer to the question that you invest so much in the teachers and then they leave?" Right
Yeah.
now, look where we are coming from.
Yeah.
So, if we are measuring investment in somebody in terms of return on investment
Mhm.
(ROI),
Mm.
then probably some mindset change is required there also.
Yes, definitely.
And therefore, I have been requesting people that let me know that you spend X amount on that investment in a teacher who is with you. That is the cost of investment. And let us say that teacher leaves after 2 years, right? Simple mathematics, I'm telling. Now you don't invest that X and the teacher remains with you for 10 years. What is the cost of that?
Yeah. Yes, clear mathematics.
So
Yes.
this is one thing. The
Mm.
second thing is, even if that teacher leaves with all those values and
Mm.
skills and wisdom and knowledge, wherever she goes, she will be your ambassador, number one.
Right.
And she will always attribute whatever she is to you and your school. So you will be saving your budget on marketing. So calculate that cost also, that you're saving your budget on marketing. And the third thing is, if she's imparting that good thing to some other group of children, they are also children of this country only, right? Or this world, let's say the universal view, if you take it. So it is not a lose game. We are not losing. It is a win-win situation,
Right.
right?
Right.
The second, I'm not saying that everybody is kind of grappling with this dilemma, there are many other issues. Our whole system is such that the pressure of time, the timetabling, the syllabus completion, and many other, teaching things we are not teaching actually, more of administration into it. And those are also the reasons. So we have to be a little more compassionate here. There are many things which AI can help us automate. We can reduce the workload. We can reduce the mundane things which the teachers do. And we can free up time from the teachers' routine, which can be for their self growth, for studying, for learning, for being with the children, which is the primary job of the
Right.
teachers.
Right.
Right? So I think some kind of innovation is required there. But having said that, I want to reiterate here that if I see what was 20 years ago to what I see today, there is a sea of change in the attitude of managements and principals that yes, professional development is very, very important. Do it in the name of mentoring, because
Okay.
professional development is still will become be very compliant, very information driven, or a particular skill driven, but the mentoring will always be human driven. And therefore their capabilities as human beings, their capabilities to apply their wisdom, to work in teams, to take decisions, to appreciate the higher purpose of education, to develop relationship. I think those are the things that we have to develop.
Right. So
Yeah.
help us see in practical ways what would be the difference between training a teacher and mentoring a teacher, both as if I am a teacher and or if I'm a school leadership. So the
So
practical aspects we should
absolutely.
implement.
Thank you very much for highlighting this issue. So let's say, for example, how to use AI could be part of the professional development, right?
Right.
How to integrate AI. That is professional development,
Yes.
right? But how to use AI to develop critical thinking in the children. So it is little different from that, right? Somebody has to apply it, show it, demonstrate it, and then only a new
Right.
teacher will appreciate it, right?
Right.
And then you have given the professional development to the teachers, fine. Then give her opportunity to conduct a workshop. Give her opportunity to present a paper in a conference.
Okay. Yes.
Give her opportunity to be an author. Sponsor her for greater responsibilities. Start trusting her with responsibilities. So that is mentoring. That is mentoring. As on today, there is no mentoring, or there is no structured development of leadership. You become principal by virtue of the number of years you have served. So at best, you become an accidental principal without having been mentored to be a principal.
Mm.
You become a principal to show your acumen for administration,
Right.
but not for leading a culture, and not for designing learning, and not for designing spaces where human flourishing is taking place. So that is what has to happen.
And if I am a teacher who aspires to move into the leadership role 3 years, 5 years down the line, and I have a good leadership, but what is the path? What are the activities? What is the initiative that I, as a teacher, should take to, move to that path with support from my leadership, of course?
5, 6 things are very important. Number one, be an excellent teacher. Don't be an ordinary teacher. Be a rock star teacher. And to be a rock star teacher, you have to go beyond your textbook, right?
Yeah.
You have to go beyond the routine that you go to the classroom, come out of the classroom. You have to invest your time, energy in your own growth. Right? So you have to be an excellent teacher, because the children today do not expect you to be a mediocre or ordinary teacher. They will not love you. So at least in my experience, I can tell you, the children love a teacher who is excellent in at least one thing.
Yeah.
I had a colleague who was very popular among the children, and children will die for him. And you know what was his one thing in which he was excelling? The best handwriting in the whole campus.
Okay.
So he will make the notes which children will love. It appeared as if it is printed. That was the differentiator. I'm just giving you a common example. At the
Right.
same time, we have seen, and many of your viewers will resonate with this, that a teacher who also sings very nicely, or a teacher who is excelling in one of the sports, or teacher who is very good at communication, or teacher who is always available to the children, or teacher who can take them aside and ask them, tell me what is wrong with you today, you are not looking as happy as you did yesterday. I think these are the differentiators, right? So we have to develop these qualities, which are very, very important in my opinion. The second thing, which is very important in my opinion, is that the young teachers, they will come to an organization and there will be 50 other teachers. And all those 50 other teachers will be of at least 5 or 10 varieties, if not 50 varieties, right?
Right.
Learn from those who are worth emulating. Learn from them, copy them, emulate them, walk up to them, that how do you manage it? How do you do it? What do you advise to me? And then you will become a person who is not shying away from taking responsibilities, who are not shying away from coming in the front when it comes to something which many others have moved back.
Right.
I think these are the things you can do in your initial years. It is a different thing that if you do in the initial years, apart from other benefits that will accrue to you, it will also become your habit and culture. That is a different thing. But you have to develop these qualities. I will tell you, I'll give you one example. I was in Mayo College, Ajmer. And when I joined, there were 5, 6 people who joined in my batch, my cohort, but the rest of the people were there for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. It was 132 years old college when I joined. And one day principal announced in the staff room that there is a conference coming up on continuous and comprehensive evaluation. Who would like to go? And I thought that I'm the junior most. Where do I figure today? And there are all Maharathis sitting here next to me, and somebody else will get the opportunity. And believe me, Kavleen, for 2 minutes, nobody raised hand. And suddenly I realized I raised both my hands to draw the attention of the principal. And the principal were also getting embarrassed for the last 2 minutes because nobody was raising hand. And he immediately laughed me and said, oh, yes, Ashok, I knew you will do it and you'll do it and this and that. And I went for a 4 days conference for that.
Yeah.
And what it did to me, only I know it. What others lost, that also I know it, isn't it? So you have to take initiative. You have to come forward. You have to come out of your comfort zone. And if you want to be proud of yourself, if you want to make a difference in somebody else's life, I think you have to work it hard. So that is the second thing. Read a lot. Let information come from all sides. Network, that is very important. I tell, let's say, for example, the maths teachers, that do you know the best maths teacher in any other school? Why can't you make a collective of 10 maths teachers from 10 schools and you meet once a month, at least now online, and learn from each other?
Yeah.
Right? Find a mentor within the school and also outside this.
Right.
Then only you will know what mentoring is capable of. So I would advise these 4 or 5 things the young teachers should do. Don't get bogged down by any bad experiences. I mean, I will tell you, I was talking to a CEO of an educational company who has come hard way from being a teacher and principal and director. And now she is the CEO. And we were talking and that what was your experience? And she said that I wanted to quit 10 times in my first 6 months.
Okay. Yeah.
But her mentor said that do everything, but never quit. You have got this position not because you have been ordinary. You have got this position because you are extraordinary. And now your test is to be extra patient, cope up. And she said that I overcome that. And today she has done 7 years into that position.
Wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. You have shared such practical tips and we have already talked about the benefits it would accrue. And I also hope
Of
the
course.
teachers are motivated by the passion with which, you talk about all these things. You talk the passion about building the next generation of citizens, next generation of leaders.
To add 2 things, Kavleen, since you talked of motivation, 2 things
Yeah.
I want to mention here. That the teachers must know their potential. All the teachers are like Hanumanji. They have huge potential, but they don't know. So I am prepared to be a Jamwant for them and remind them the immense potential that you have. And you can change the life of generations. And I want to share with them the example of Chanakya, who saw an ordinary child, nondescript place, and picked him up, saw the potential in him, taught him communication, statecraft, negotiation, administration, and he became the founder of a dynasty which lasted for 140 years.
Right.
Maurya dynasty.
Yeah.
That is the potential. And that is the potential which you mentioned in the beginning, under 40, which the GEMS education has come out with. That
Yes.
is the whole idea, that we cannot answer the problem of mentoring. We can only create models with intention. So this is a small model, but great intention. And if it can be replicated, I think we can make a huge difference. And that is exactly what Government of India also wants to do it. And they have identified this mentoring in the national education policy. And that is where the national mentoring mission is going on. I think teachers should read about it, talk about it, and reap the benefits of it.
Yeah, definitely. I hope that it scales up
Of course, of course.
to
And
an.
not only we scale it up, I think many people are in a position where they can replicate the model, make it better, and scale it up.
So thank you for sharing that. That has been a very crucial segment because a lot of teachers, they are bogged down by the daily tasks, the mundane tasks, the challenges they face. Since you've talked about this U40, are there any resources also available with which the teachers can pick up, taking ownership for one's own growth towards a leadership role?
So first of all, this opportunity should be a management driven also, leadership driven also. All managements and leadership, they must intentionally embed this mentoring and developmental opportunities for all the teachers. But at the same time, there is something called a self-driven opportunity also. And that is what you're hinting at. And for that, as I said, nowadays, online courses are available. MOOC courses, whether it is Coursera, Udemy, or edX courses, so several others. But the Indian system has also developed, like your Swam platform is there, a Nistha platform is there, your Diksha platform is there. Some of the IITs like Mumbai and Madras, they have developed new courses. And there is no dearth of an opportunity where you can just sit with your computer and learn something new. They can go to that portal, National Mentoring Mission, or National Council of Teacher Education, and they can enroll themselves as a mentee. And if not every day, at least twice or thrice a week, the mentoring program by some expert takes place. So anything that interests you, anything which is aligned with your domain, that program you can attend. So there's no dearth of opportunities.
You can even search and create a plan with the help of AI for your own development, and mentoring.
Absolutely, absolutely. So AI could be your mentor also. AI could be your colleague where you can share some of your dilemmas and tensions. You can use it beautifully. You're right. I agree.
Yeah, you can share your career aspirations and
Any-
create
Yeah.
together, create a plan to
Yeah.
achieve that. So that's possible. So thank you for sharing all that, sir. Can we move towards a rapid fire round question?
Yes.
Okay. A non-education interest that quietly made you better at your job in education.
Non-education interest?
Yes, that made you better at your job in education. Any hobby, any interest.
Oh, yes.
Outside the education world, which actually positively impacted you as an educator.
So I was not a great sportsman before I joined. I did play volleyball. In fact, I played volleyball at the level of the college, but it was not an integral thing for me. But when I became a teacher, one of my students taught me squash rackets, how to play.
Okay.
And after that, I became a squash coach. I played for veterans, and that changed my whole attitude about teaching and learning. And when I said in one of the segments, if you remember, that the children have great potential and you can learn also from.
Yeah.
And I'm just giving an example that I became a squash player because of one of my students.
Yeah. So that there is a co-learning at play.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. So next question would be a moment which may have pulled you back from being an educator, and then what kept you in this profession?
I came to this profession because my university professor encouraged me to do this.
Okay.
Right? But even then, I thought that, okay, I'll go for 2-3 years. Let me have some fun. I'll get some salary, enjoy life, have tour, and I'll come back to whatever I want to do. But in those 2-3 years, I thought that there is no other career where I can fit in. This is the only career I had to be, right? But being honest to your question, at many points I thought that I should change my profession. And then I remembered my students. I remembered my colleagues. I remember the fun that I had. I can go to the library and read 100 books. I can play for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Every year I went on tour with the children, and I thought that if I go to any other profession, I will miss all these things.
And belief about school leadership that has evolved over the years for you?
As a school leader, all you do is because of your teachers. All you do is because of your students and parents. But you are a fortunate person as a leader that you get credit for everything. And
Right.
therefore, my message to my fellow colleagues is be grateful for that opportunity which God has bestowed upon you. And therefore, every day you pay that gratitude in terms of investing in the development of the teachers. And they will take that investment back to the children. And then the parents will be happy and satisfied. And then they come back to you and they will become an ally of the school.
Right.
That is what I have realized.
Wonderful. And that closes the entire loop of guiding and helping. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. So, next question would be that one capability or multiple that India needs to invest in for developing India leaders, the educational leaders.
Love for India. I think the shortest answer, but little bit of explanation of this is that we are already up in 2047 to become a developed nation. And when we wanted independence, everybody, young children, girls, adolescents, women, actually able, everybody participated to become an independent nation. 047, 100 years, we don't have to fight for independence. We have to fight that nobody is poor, nobody is hungry, our lifestyle increases, we remain a united country in harmony and peace and love with each other. And of course, our indices of growth also compare with the best in the world. That is what a developed nation is all about, isn't it? But what are the instruments of that? And it is more important for the school leaders and teachers that we have to tell our children that we have our civilizational history. We have to go back to our roots. There is a lot that we have to learn, and there is a lot that we have to be grateful about. Second is that we are a diverse country. We have to embrace diversity. We have to respect diversity. We have to celebrate diversity. The third is that we have been a victim of colonization for many, many years, and we have to reclaim ourselves and we have to decolonize ourselves in many ways. And the fourth is that we have to work for character flourishing. And if we can be these four things in the name of our nation, we will create an example for the world also. I don't want India to be isolated. India
Right.
has always been a friend of the world, in fact, a guru of the world, but we have to reclaim it. So these four things are very, very important. And then only we can become a developed nation.
Yeah, that's very empowering and very necessary, sir. So, thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
And sir, the last question: your mentors and your teachers shaped you. So, anybody you would like to mention?
Many. In fact,
A
I wanted to suggest.
final message for the school leadership on that note as well.
Yeah, so I think we have given these messages, but I will give one. But as far as mentors are concerned, I think my first thought goes to my middle school headmaster. And it will take another 2 hours to describe him. But only one thing I will tell him that I have not forgotten the images of his mounting on an elephant to go to the railway station, to catch a train, to come to Delhi, to receive the president's award
Okay.
with the hands of President Radhakrishnan at that time. So he was the first. Then my first principal, under whose wings I became a good human being, a good teacher, is Colonel Prem Sharan Satsangi, who is no more, unfortunately. And there are many people who came in my life. And I would not like to forget my mentor, Dr. Shyama Chona, and she has helped me grow at various stages in my life. You may be knowing her, and many of our viewers know Dr. Shyama Chona, the legendary doyeness of public school education. And one day she said that I was at a place, I'm not disclosing the name of the place because it might affect some people. So she said, Ashok, kya kar rahe ho tum wahan pe? What are you doing here?
Yeah.
I think you are stagnating. You have to do this. That is the role of a principal, a role of a mentor, right? Where with some sense of moral authority and some sense of love and affection, you can say what is right for the person.
Right.
That is what we.
Right.
So I have been very fortunate in that sense. Okay, so my message is that since we began with AI, and therefore I will request my leaders because my message is primarily to them, because I know they are the influencers for the teachers and the students, that you will not be known by how much technology you have implemented and how good your school is in AI or other things. I think the future will judge you by whether your leadership has been able to establish preserving the humanity, because when children, Kavalin, I tell you, my experience is they never say that this teacher taught me this and I became good in, no, all of them only talk of emotional connections, that this teacher valued me, this teacher made me feel happy, this teacher, when I was lonely, when I thought that I have lost everything, this teacher came and offered her shoulders and I leaned on that. I think that is what they remember. And that is what the role of the teachers is. And if we do not reclaim and clinch onto that role, I think we will be in the danger zone. I tell people, so far the World Economic Forum's future job, the statistics says that the jobs which will be disappearing, the teaching, counseling, advising, mentoring, sits very safe in that area. There is only 13 to 14% chances of replacement for this. Whereas there are other jobs where 80 to 90% chances that they can be replaced. So let's be happy of that. But at the same time, let us not take it for granted also.
Yes.
I think that is the role of the leadership.
That's a very, very important message. And thank you, sincere thanks for sharing your experiences, your knowledge, and your guidance.
Very much for taking me on your show. I have enjoyed every moment of our conversation.